All right, here's another update to the Bitcoin FUD series, addressing each piece of FUD one by one. So here's another common thing that comes up. People will come out of the woodwork and they'll say, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value, right? You have JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon coming out and claiming that. And what I think he fails to mention is the fact that nothing has intrinsic value. Intrinsic value doesn't actually exist. Value is always subjective, no matter what you're valuing. The extent to something is valuable is the extent that it satisfies aims, and but that's based on the wants and desires of the people in the market, right? The wants and desires of the people in the market can always change, and they're always subject to change. So to say that something has intrinsic value is just not really accurate in my opinion. I mean, you have and it sort of bounds on some of the things that we take for granted, or certain expectations that we have. So take gold for an example. Most of gold's uh, market cap is its monetary premium. It's used as a store of value, about roughly 9 trillion out of 10 trillion. That other 1 trillion value, people would claim, actually represents the intrinsic value, or they would make that argument. What it they mean when they say that is that it represents industrial use. So 1 trillion of gold's 10 trillion market cap is used in electronics or different or jewelry, or different actual items. So in that sense, gold is not only just a store of value; it's also a commodity that's used in trade. But what those people fail to mention is that it, even in that instance where it's used as a commodity, it still doesn't have inherent value, right? I mean, the extent that gold is useful in jewelry is not intrinsic value. That is based on the subjective wants and desires of people who want jewelry. If those wants and desires changed, then you know that that you can see very clearly how it's no longer intrinsic value. And so with Bitcoin, people will come out and they'll say that it has no intrinsic value, but it's a monetary network that you can use to store your wealth. It's um, a safeguard from monetary debasement. I would say that's a pretty decent use case. And although it doesn't have intrinsic value, it has very real value, um, substantiated by the market in real time. If anybody comes to you and says, "Look, Bitcoin doesn't have any value," just say, "Okay, send me one for free," and just look at their face and see what they say.